Hello, fashionistas. Welcome to my new YouTube channel. My name is Michelle, and my channel is Michelle Creates Fashion. On this channel, this is about me delving into the artistry behind the garment. On this channel, I teach, I explore, I inspire, and continue to learn the art of fashion design. This very first lesson is Pattern Making 101, Dress Form Basics. Prepping your dress form for draping and how to take measurements for industry, individuals, and your custom design clients. Form prep. So what you're going to need is a tape measure, styling tape or draping tape, and your dress form. So let's begin with our draping tape. The draping tape is very tacky, but you can take it off and replace it very easily. Right now I'm starting at the bust size seam, and I am making my way around the apex of the bust. While you're going around, you want to keep the tape perpendicular to the floor. Sorry guys, just a small disclaimer. You want to keep the tape parallel to each point. It should be the same measurement, but you don't have to use your ruler, just eyeball. So this is our bust. Pay attention to the landmarks. We just went around the bust and the apex or bust points. Now we are taking our tape and we're starting to go around the waistline. I'm going to go at the bottom of the style tape on the dress form. You can go in between or on top. I started again at the side seam. I'm going around the abdomen, the other side seam, around her back, and I'm overlapping the tape just so that it will stay in place. If you don't overlap, I find that the tape kind of lifts itself. So it's more secure if you overlap. Let's pay attention to our hip line. Our hip line usually measures about 7 to 9 inches from the side seam. I like to measure at the fullest part of the hip, whatever that measurement is. I am, again, keeping that tape leveled keeping the tape level parallel to the floor. Reference to the floor. And again, you are eyeballing. Rip your tape with your hand, with your fingers, and you're going to overlap and gently press and kind of rub on it so that it won't raise. I am now going from side to side at my shoulder blade line, and that line usually measures about 4 inches from your neckline and in between those screw plates on the metal arm plate. So it is usually positioned between or right at that screw plate. Now we're taking our tape measure and we're going to take some measurements, and these measurements are usually measured for a custom, individual, or for your actual pattern making and draping. And again, we are wrapping that tape measure around the body. We're going to keep that tape measure taut while keeping particular. You don't want to take the measurement while it's sliding down. If you can see, I'm sliding it back up. It keeps sliding down, but I'm attempting to slide it back up where it will remain taut. At the waist, I like to go, sometimes I go a little tighter on the waist because clients sometimes like a snug fit at the waist. It depends on your client. And your hip, you're measuring again that 7, 8, or 9 inch below your waist side seam at the fullest part of your hip. So you're going to record those measurements. Now let's start at your neck, your center front neckline, and you're going to measure down to your center front waistline. and below the tape at the finished or bottom of the tape point. Now you're going to take that tape measure and place it at your shoulder seam. That seam line is also called your princess seam. We are at your shoulder ridge or shoulder point, and we're right back at our center front waist at a diagonal. Now we're going to go side to side from one side seam to the other over the apex, highest point of your bust at that side seam ridge point. And the reason for that is some clients can be busty or more busty in the front than they are the back. Now we're going from apex to apex across the highest point. And we're back at that shoulder, mid-shoulder, down to the apex again. You take that measurement and record it. Now we're back at that center front neck, and this measurement will depend on how low your client wants the garment to sit, whether it's a V neckline, a round neckline, or a deep V neckline, or a strapless neckline. And this at this point is where we're going to determine where that fullest part of the hip is. And under your arm, normally on a full dress form, you measure 2 finger widths, but because I'm working on a half scale, I'm using 1 finger, and that will determine my start point down to the waistline. This is your armhole depth. You are placing at the shoulder point or shoulder ridge down to where you started at that 1 finger mark. Now we're at the back of our neckline down to our center back waist. We are at our horizontal balance line at the back shoulder blade line, and we want that measurement as well. And again, now we're at our back side seams from side to side, our back seams, our back waist from side to side, and then we'll go at our back hip line from side to side. And again, we're going back to the front just to kind of recap from side to side. And that front can be, your client can have a bulging or a bigger abdomen, and if you notice, that tape will be a little longer in length. Even if that abdomen is empty right below or at the pelvic, you're still going to hold that tape out as if the abdomen goes all the way down. Sometimes you may want to take that upper hip measurement as well. And you want to go down from your waist to desired length, whether it's for a skirt, for pants, for a gown. And side seams, you'll do the same thing from the waist down to your desired measurements. I like to take the right side and I like to take the left side as well, because some clients do have like one hip higher than the other, and that measurement, if that's the case, that measurement will be different. So let's turn again. Here we go. We're going to measure as if that client has one hip bigger. Okay, so that means your pattern will be skewed a little bit, and once we get into our series and classes, we'll figure out why that happens and talk more about the body. And here is where we're measuring our neck circumference. So you don't want to pull on the tape when you're measuring. You want to keep it loose. If you're working on a body or a full dress form, you want to put like 1 finger width through the tape. So you never want to pull very tightly unless you're working on a stretch and you want that turtleneck or that stretch neckline to fit tightly. Here we go on the shoulder seam. Normally that seam is 5.5. Because it's half scale, it's about 2.5. And there we have it. We're finished our series. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more like this. Stay tuned for the next video. The next video is where we're going to get into draping our muslin on the dress form. So hope to see you then. Bye-bye.